Hello and welcome to the ground noise. Today we create a soft and generative ambient patch in Vital that also sounds very beautiful, just like the one you hear in the background. Okay, I have my notes here. You know, it's a very old school way to remember things and also a very good way still to learn new things. So it says we need 3 oscillators and also 3 LFOs and more of that good stuff. So if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel, don't forget that, and help me to reach my next subscriber goal, okay? Because that will definitely make the world a better place. Also feel free to start your DAW, load Vital and follow along. Because it's very easy to create this ambient patch in Vital, I promise. So are you ready? Let's go! But first things first, we still need something to trigger our Vital Synth, and for that I created this part here. This part is about 2 minutes long and it only contains one single note, a C2 in this case, and we will now turn this single note into that beautiful soundscape you've just heard in the intro. Also, this time I have a very slow tempo here going on, like 60 BPM. All these values, you know, you can experiment with that. So I've loaded the initialized preset here in Vital so that we can start from scratch. And you might ask how it's even possible to turn this ongoing, everlasting note into a soundscape with changing chords and whatnot. Well, forget about the envelopes. This time we only need the LFOs, which will overtake the role of the envelopes, you will see in a minute. But first, let me load a basic waveform. I go for the, basic shapes, and here I select the sawtooth wave. Of course, if you want, you can also experiment with a wavetable sound, whatever you want to do. And in case you want to create your own wavetables in Vital, I've made a tutorial about that. It's in the info card right now on the screen. So we have our saw wave here, and I turn the level all the way down. And now we set up the LFO, which, like I've said, works as an envelope, so to say. It's not exactly an envelope. You can switch it here, but we leave this alone and set up a nice curve, like a long attack, something like this. You can maybe like so, and also bring the starting point up a little so that the sound never really disappears. Something like this for the start. Of course, fine-tuning is always possible and very likely also necessary. We will see. I make it really slow, like 4 bars, so that's with a BPM of 60, it's like 16 seconds long, this LFO here. And now I connect the LFO with the level of oscillator 1, and I turn it down 0.6 or something. Let's see. Not bad, but I also want to send it through a filter, of course. I use this one, 24 dB, and I bring it down. Let's play it for a while. And I also want to open the filter with an LFO, so when the sound comes in, the filter also opens up. That's the idea. And I also like to play with the resonance of the filter, so let's play around, or maybe we can attach a second LFO to the resonance. Okay, maybe something like this with a quarter note tempo. Nice, very subtle, but very nice. Now it's time to turn this single note into something like a simple chord. And I do that with a very interesting method. I just change the oscillator 1 voices to 2 voices and detune them by 100%. So now we have 2 voices that play around the root note, like a whole tone step lower and a whole tone step higher. So it's not a C anymore, it's a B and a D. Let's listen to it. Again. It's also a nice effect if you animate this with another LFO. It's also a good idea, but we will not do that right now in this tutorial here. So we have a nice simple chord going on, but we also want to change the pitch of the note, and we want to do that randomly. And for that we need a randomizer. Of course, in Vital we have lots and lots of randomizers, and I said randomizer 1, 2, sample and hold. And also, and this is very important, that we have the same tempo like our original LFO, the envelope LFO. So 4 bars. This will make sure that the randomizer also changes when the LFO loop starts here, and that the sound is not changing, or the chord is not changing somewhere in the middle or whatever. And I connect the randomizer 1 with the pitch of oscillator 1, and I set it not to 48, it's a bit much, to just 12. Enter value, right click and enter value is the best way to do that. 12, okay, so we have like 12 halftone steps of possibility. And now I want to make our sound a little bit bigger, so I use the second oscillator to add like a bass note to it. Let's turn it down by -12, okay. And also, maybe not now, let me first check. Let's go for another shape, something like that. It's not a sine curve, it's like a flattened sine curve. Just let's see how it sounds, or let's hear how it sounds is better saying, I guess. Well, oh, now we are really loud here. That's what I also always do. Now I can bring this back down. So just always check the levels when you make a new preset here or a new patch in a synthesizer. So what have we done? We have done the oscillator 2, but it's not moving. So I will turn down the level as well, like I did with oscillator 1, and also connect at the same LFO1 with the level, but this time maybe a little less, 0.5 or something. But maybe I can also change the voices of oscillator 2. Oh, this is cool. Three voices and 20% detuning. Now when we play both oscillators together, this one will change the pitch randomly, but this won't, okay? It also should change the same way like oscillator 1, so we connect it also with random 1 and turn it down by, okay, enter value 12. Okay, let's play it for a while to see if it works. Oh yeah. Okay, it works, but now I want to create like a counter movement, a second movement for this patch. You know, the peak of the first sound is like here, but what happens in the second half of the patch? So let me just draw another LFO3 here, and I turn it down, maybe something like this, and I make it a little bit softer. Maybe something like here. We can add, with a double click, we can add more curves here. Let's go a bit crazy. Why not? And I will connect this LFO with the second OSC. Let's change the sound, go to basic shapes, and I am looking for a triangle shape here. And this one should be really quietly playing in the background. So let's turn it down and then connect it with the level. And now I play it again and try to come up with a good setting. Oh, forgot the tempo here. 4 bars, remember? Oh, and I also need to change the pitch. I do it with the randomizer. Again. And 12, okay. Okay. Some more voices maybe, and a little bit of detuning. It seems to work pretty well in this patch, the detuning. It's like a weird ghost-like echo, but we will take it a little bit further and also add some noise. And for that, let's just try something like river. That sounds good. River, how does it sound? Yeah, it's a river, but we can also pitch it down like an octave. But again, let's really make it quiet and also connect it with the LFO3, our counter movement LFO. So, okay, that's too much, I can tell. Another test run. Bit too much river. Okay, now it's time to add some cool effects, okay? But let me summarize what we did. It's really simple. We only used basic waveforms like a saw wave, like that flattened sine wave, I don't know the correct name, and a triangle wave, also some noise. And then we painted an envelope in an LFO and made it really slow, like 4 bars. And the trick to turn the single note into something like a chord, a simple chord, was just by adding 2 voices to it and detuning them really 100%. And then we filled the room in the middle with a bass note. And also we changed everything with the randomizer on sample and hold. And the randomizer also got to have the same tempo, like 4-bar tempo, just like the LFO. And then we added a second movement for the second half of the loop. that features the third oscillator and also the river ambient sound. And before we continue, my quick reminder, please don't forget to leave a like before you go, okay? It's really important, and I also want to know what you think about this concept of this patch. Have you tried it yourself? Let me know in the comments, okay? In the meantime, I saved my patch, of course, and now let's check out the effects section. And I will go with 3 effects. Of course, you guessed it, a delay. But this is the way how I set it up. I set it to stereo and every channel like 1 bar. And this is just to make everything sound a little bit wider. But the feedback, I always turn it down to most of the time I turn it down to something like 30%. But I want to have more of the mix factor. I love whole numbers. So enter value and 50%, okay? So that's my delay. So we have created something like an extra pulse in the sound. There's a little bit more movement. It also sounds a little bit wider. Maybe it's time for the reverb. I just use the inbuilt reverb this time, but I also want to turn off the equalizer section here. And we need a little bit more reverb time. Our patch is 16 seconds long, so we can go for quite a long number here, maybe something like this, and also 50%. Cool. But we can still do a tiny little bit more to make it sound really special, a little bit more original. And one thing that's easily overseen, most people of course are totally into delays and reverbs, and that's it. Maybe sometimes they add also distortion, of course, why not? But an effect that I really love for ambient music is the phaser. I love phasers for everything. Phasers are really cool, and here in this case in Vital I only switch it on and that's it. I don't need to change any settings, it's okay right now. And now let's have a listen again. It sounds amazing if you ask me, and remember, it's only from one single note that continues playing a long note, and that's a very exciting thing, a very special thing about generative music. That's what it makes so special and interesting. Again, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I always love reading your comments, okay? Also check out my other videos here, that would be really great. Thanks for watching and